this is an example of the exercise that I went through, and the exercise that changed my life and gave me a lot of hope when I needed it. And so here's an example that you see on your screen. This is an anonymous individual that I worked with on this exercise. When we began this process, she worked within a foundation. She was a program officer helping to decide where grants went in Washington, D.C. to some of the largest arts and cultural institutions in the world, like the Kennedy Center and others. She had dipped her toes into social entrepreneurism and started a social enterprise. And it ignited a whole new world within her, much like many of you, I'm sure. And so she was no longer happy in a role in traditional philanthropy. And so what I did was what I often do, which is try to go back and ask some fundamental questions to help her figure out what she liked about work in philanthropy as a program officer, what she didn't like about it, how she wanted to be remembered, what impact she wanted her work to have, so that she could kind of get to the core of what it is that she wanted to do. And today, we did this exercise about a year and a half ago, and today she leads a program within an organization called WACIF, the Washington Area Community Investment Fund, where she works with entrepreneuring women of color throughout the DMV, the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, to help them build their businesses, learn skills, and do everything from training programs to providing funding, loan funds, it's a community investment fund, and more. And all of that came out of being able to take a step back and say, I don't necessarily need to have the impact I want to have in the way that I always thought about it. I can have that impact in another space. And so that's the goal of this. So I'll kind of walk you through some of what she thought, and you'll find these same questions in the book. So the first question that you have to ponder is, what do you love and why? Why do you love it? So here she says, and this process requires a lot of honesty. If you like being on stage and having people recognize your work, you have to be honest and say, that's one of the things that provides me with some fulfillment. It needs to be a part of the way I run my company if I'm starting a business. It needs to be a part of how I operate as an individual. So you have to be very honest about what it is you like and find joy in with the work that you hope to engage in. And so here she says, I love the idea of creating spaces, programs, or circumstances where people feel happy and fulfilled in their lives. She references a specific project. I want to contribute to the sense of freedom that people feel to realize their own potential, their own path, and their own well-being, and innovate or take risk in whatever way that translates for them. I'm grateful for the freedom I have had to pursue my own path, and I think it's critical that we create that space for people to truly have a healthy, well-functioning society. It's also instrumental for ensuring prosperity. The arts have been a huge part of how I've plugged into that feeling, since they make us feel like our lives are more expansive, more open, bigger than what we see daily. Entrepreneurship, she had realized, does the same. I want people to have an elevated sense of what's possible for them and for those around them. And here I've highlighted where you begin to see, as you go through this exercise, some things here that you'll see in the yellow section, specifically in bold. Because she had to go deeper. She loves the art. But why art? And she says, well, it's beautiful things. It is. But it also makes everything feel possible, makes people feel like they can do anything. When I spoke to her, I said, well, that's innovation, right? You love innovation. And she said, mine's open to art and creativity. It doesn't go away. Like work that it takes to put something beautiful on stage, it's tangible. It's hard work with a payoff. So you produce a tangible product in the arts, and that's one of the things that had always attracted her to it. For the world, opening up access is very interesting. People don't connect what they do to art, feel that connection, and quality of life becomes better for those who consume the product. The world would be more open-minded if everyone valued art the way I do. People would feel better about themselves, the world, and future possibilities. And again, I'm hearing a lot here connected to innovation. Kind of what are the core principles? So when she thinks about what she enjoys doing, she enjoys seeing a problem, a possibility, a project, and thinking. She likes program leadership, project and program leadership, about taking things from inception to completion with a project plan, resources, partners. It's interesting, it makes her feel engaged, and creating relationships is a natural byproduct that she enjoys. And what do you hate about it? Well, she hates finance. She actually had her bachelor's was in accounting. So she had worked at a Big 5 firm and had decided that was not the world for her. And so she, doesn't like the pressure, especially the pressure of meeting goals or sales goals or objectives. She's not good at that kind of pressure. And what's her ideal role? It's a role where she's taking in the needs or priorities and ideas of different people, departments, projects, and other stakeholders, identifying how it can all work together. She runs internal projects in this ideal role with a current org to study past, in her current role, in this role, to study past giving and try to alter the course of business. And again, all of these come back to some key words and concepts like project and program leadership. And then the most important question to me that I ask is, you're dying. You have to kind of project forward when you want to think about your impact. And all of this should be fluid. This is a living set of thoughts, a living document that you can evolve as you evolve. But for her at this time, when she thinks about how she wants to be remembered, she says, I made life better for those in my community. That's why I was initially drawn to philanthropy. I made a mark, and she had to recognize, I'm recognized by people for what I have done, especially in my field. And she said, I said, ask yourself why. Keep asking why. Because it's cool, she said. What's the point of spending so much time working if no one cares, remembers, or values what you did? She has to make a difference. And so she engaged in this exercise, and the end result was crafting a mission statement. And so she took key words from her thoughts and kind of key principles related to how we do work, like innovation, program leadership, program management, project leadership, product management. And she boiled it down to a mission statement. And for her, that mission statement was, I do innovative work to support projects and programs that create tangible products and experiences that expand minds and possibilities. That's kind of core to her thinking, to the arts, right? For a broad and diverse set of stakeholders. And you can see with this mission statement, that's exactly what she's now doing. She's no longer in the arts, which has been a passion for her whole life, but she got to the core of why she loved art, because it connects people. It allows us to innovate. It allows us to see possibilities that we didn't see before. And so now she works to do that with entrepreneurs, and she creates tangible product, meaning sessions that train them. She's able to track how their sales can grow or fall based on how her program has helped to empower the women that she works with. A mission statement can be just as powerful for you as it is for the biggest business on the planet.